Hello everyone and welcome to an unboxing for the channel of a new game we're going to start covering. Apologies for the badly lit box, which is about all you can see right now, but hopefully you can be able to read what's on there. We're going to be unboxing everything that comes in the Godtear Kickstarter Chosen Pledge. Even though the Kickstarter is long finished, you can still buy the bundle at a discount from Steamforged Games, who did the Resident Evil 2 board game that we did a little bit of coverage of on this channel. They also do Guild Ball, which isn't my thing, but I've got a friend who's into it. And they're doing a Horizon Zero Dawn board game and Devil May Cry. They're very in with Capcom properties as well. But this is their own unique thing. It's kind of, like, don't be put off by this, but it's kind of a board game, miniature game that plays a little bit like a MOBA in terms of, like, you've got your big heroes and then you've got your trash mobs. Kind of, and you've got to claim points, hold them. There's no tower mechanics, so I guess MOBA isn't probably a good example. But either way, we're going to look through everything that comes in this. I should point out, along with this, I actually did pick up a couple of extra heroes that are not part of this chosen pledge that I just like the look of. I'm not going to cover these in the video, but just as a quick cameo, there is Rangosh, Scourge of the Broken Plains, and his Red Bandits. Also, I was very surprised by the size of the miniatures. The pictures on the website didn't do them justice. I didn't realise they were like Dreadnought size. And that is Shale, Keeper of the Oath, and Landslide, who has like a summonable golem. So those are not part of the pledge, but I did pick them up at the same time, and I promised I'd show the extra heroes I picked up. That was for Evil Vice President if you're watching. So let's get started and get this box open. Alright, let's see what we've got in here. Also, if there's any weird cuts, I apologise. I'm trying to cut out sniffing and sneezing. My allergies are terrible today. It's awful. So we've got some kind of, extra cards and a map. I wonder if they're put in because of the additional purchase, because that's Shale. Interesting. But we'll look at that in a second. I want to unbox everything from the big box so I can get it out of the way because it's blocking the lighting. Then we also have whatever this is. Godtear the Awakening. Oh, they added a campaign mode, I believe. Yeah, campaign structure. So I guess that's like a free edition. The bag is actually ripped and it looks like, yep, some extra cards fell out there. So I'm not sure, like, I'm not at all familiar with the campaign mode of the game. I'm barely familiar with the base game and how it plays currently. So then we have, there's two different starter sets to the game, and this tier comes with both of them. That's the Borderlands starter set, and then there's also, it's heavy, the Eternal Glade starter set. You don't need both, as far as I'm aware, just to depend, they both come with different heroes. You can do 1-on-1s and 2-on-2s, but I believe a base game is supposed to be 3 heroes against 3 heroes. And then there's the additional separate heroes. Again, all part of the chosen pledge. Let's get them out of the way for a second. I'll organise things in a moment. So is that Rattlebone? Rattlebone, Prophet of the Ascended Past, and his hexlings, or her hexlings, I'm not sure. Because of the polywrap, I'll get all the polywrap off before we start looking at these properly. Then we also have Half Tusk, Warden of the Stoneskin Isle, and his Froglodytes. Instead of Troglodytes, I get it. Marm Blade, the Soulless, and Nightshades. They're colour coded for a reason, incidentally, but we'll go into that in a bit. This one I like the look of. Grimgut the Vile and his Wretchlings. Kind of like a off-brand discount Clayface if you look at it on the art there, but the model itself is fun. And then, lastly, I think, we have a little hard to see because of the Grimgut. Hang on. Sneaky Pete the Maligned and Sneaky Stabbers. So that's wonderful. Alright, so I'll do a deliberate cut here just to get the poly wrap off of everything so that it's not constantly reflecting, and then we'll start unboxing stuff. Alright, let's start with the first of the 2-player starter sets. Godtear the Borderlands starter set, a miniature game of ascendant champions battling in a broken world. The champions are trying to get the God tiers, which are falling to, like, that's one of them falling right there. You get them, you get empowered. But it's not just about, we'll cover this more once we look at the hero types, but it's not just about murder your opponent and sit on a point. Different heroes score differently depending on what type of hero they are. So, here's a quick peek at what comes with this one. You get Finvar, Lord of Mirages, and Titus the Disgraced. I imagine that, yeah, that must be Finvar, that's an elvish name. And a sneak peek at the models as well. And I believe, even though this comes with, like, it's a starter set with a map and one hero, it gives you enough cards and things to hold your cards as if you had a full team. So that's good. And the packaging is actually very nice. Not something I usually care about, but yeah, the packaging is nice. So first things first, we've got the mat. Let's see if it's a double-sided mat, I believe. Yes, it is. What size is this? That's not quite... Is that 3x3? Maybe. Ooh, there we go. Forgive me. I don't want to put it underneath everything because it'll get crushed. So that's one side. The only thing that's out of ordinary, well, other than it being hex-based, but things move by hexes, is this here, which I believe is like the score ladder. So one opponent gets like that, one opponent gets that. The point starts with whoever has first activation, I think. And then depending on what you do, it's kind of like a tug of war, and then at the end of the round, wherever the scorer is for that round goes to the person whose half it's in. So if it's past that point, it goes to this player. If it goes to that half, it goes to that player. And then the other side of the mat, again, which I can't really show very well at this angle, I apologise. It's kind of like a desert. It's a shame that it's not 3D, but obviously I understand why it's not. So we'll put that to one side for now. We have the rulebook, which I think is available on the Steamforged website. How many pages we here? 31 pages, including the index. So it just uses one set of dice, which honestly, compared to some recent things I've been playing, is a welcome thing. It's just hex-based movement. There's two distinct phases to the game. I've forgotten offhand what they're called. Let's see, plot phase and hit each other phase. I don't remember the second phase's name, but you can't do much other than move and buff or debuff in the first phase, and you just do all of your side, and then the opponent does all of their side. But then you get into the combat phase and you alternate activations between champions and minions and such. Does this also have the missions in it? It does, scenarios. So that shows you how to set up your board with where you put the god tiers. And yeah, they get a little bit more complicated. I've actually never seen some of these be played. Okay, so we're not going to worry about the minutiae of getting into the rules. As I say, I think they are available for free. Could be wrong. These are the things I was talking about. These are essentially the thing you need. You need 3 of these to play a full army. You have like your hero, your minion, and your skills. And for the starter set, you only need 1 and 1. But I think, if I remember what I heard correctly, it gives you 6. Or it might give you 3. Apologies for the noise. No, that is... I think that is 6. 1, 2... Oh no, it is only 3. Well, across both starter sets you would have 6 then. But if you were just playing the starter set, you'd only need 2, and then you have 1 spare for when you start getting more heroes. Champions. Force of habit calling them heroes, sorry. Let's get that out of the way. So then we have all the markers. That's the god tiers. These are buffs and debuff symbols, so presumably that's like movement, attack, defense, accuracy, dodge. The hearts are for when you take wound damage, and these are the score trackers. Now interestingly, the number of points you gain for winning a round change. I believe it counts up till turn 3, and then turn 4, 5 and 6 it actually decreases. Which is a little weird. Oh yeah, one side is a negative, one side is a buff. So we've got a few of them. All basically the same, and then, oh, we have the miniatures. There's the dice. Again, simple, one type of dice. It's got 3 single hits. 3 single hits, 2 blanks, and a double hit. Very similar to the basic dice of the Dark Souls board game that Steamforged also did. That was the one I was forgetting from before. So that's all the dice you use. I believe in the early versions of the game it was much more complex. They simplified it, makes it much smoother. These are... oh, what's this? It's a empty bag for the dice, presumably. Alright, dice cleared away, and I've opened up the cards. So this is the basic stat card for minions. I don't remember what the official name is for the game, I'm just going to call them minions. And then there's the hero card, and again that's all his abilities for Titus, and then these are his additional abilities he can do, and maybe in the other phase, although actually I think... oh yeah, that's how it works. So depending on what phase of the game you're in, you flip the card, and then that shows you what you can do for that particular phase. So one of them is for like the main attack phase, and one of them is for the just mostly for walking. Presumably that's the walking phase because it's talking about like making the champion move more, rapid deployment, yeah. So this is the attack side of the cards, and that's the not. I guess, yeah, these must just be additional abilities. I think the heroes, or champions, sorry, have alts, so that could also be what that is. Shadow Sentinels for the other hero, for Finvar, who I insist on calling a hero, even though the terminology is champion. And then additional, if Finvar isn't on an objective hex, his skills have +2, whatever that means. It must be additional passives, is what that additional card is for the champions. I think. Okay, put that to one side as well. Okay, let's take a look at one of... this one caught my attention because that is the exact pose they used for the Alone miniature in the Dark Souls board game, which also had a little bit of a wonky sword, although in this case, no, it's meant to be curved like that. Let's see. Very large. I'd put it at like the size, well, height-wise, maybe like one of the old school dreadnoughts from 40k. Not as wide, obviously, but yeah, there's quite a bit of detail. I've heard that contrast paint also works really well with these, so I'm looking forward to giving them a go. So that's the main hero for one side. It's quite a neat looking minion as well, considering like they're trash mobs that can just get murderized and then you can rally them at the end of your turn or their turn or whatever to get more. Then you've got your banner, which in this case is a coiled sword. By the looks of things, it's a little bent. Don't know if that's on purpose or not. So that's how you stake your claim to a god tier, and depending on your class type, it might give you more points than normal. Like normally I think it just gives you like 1 victory point, but if you're the type that goes after banners and placing them on god tiers, you would get an extra point. This is very dangerous running 2 flails, honestly. 2 flails plus 2 swords. Compensating? No, 4 swords. What the heck? Compensating much? Neat looking though. And he or she also has 2 swords. Yeah, there's one very, very overcompensating minion. The rest looks sensible and very detailed actually. Didn't see any bent stuff there either, which is good. Alright, let's take a look at Titus and his people. Again, the sword is slightly tilted towards him, but I presume it's meant to be. The bases aren't warped, so that's good. It looks like it uses the later Resident Evil 2 ones, I think. So yeah, that's interesting. A little bit flimsy at the top there, but it is plastic, so... But the detail was there. I'm actually surprised at the level of detail. You know, that's his banner. Good job he has a lot of this, like a bowling alley banner. If he had less of those, it looked like Nurgle. So his people just appear to be thugs, raiders, perhaps. Axes, spears. These are more modern, like I think the Kickstarter for this ran last year, maybe? So if they've improved their moulding so that there's much less chance of bent swords and whatnot, because the Dark Souls board game stuff sadly did have a lot of that. Well, not a lot of that, but some of them they're just, like their big and impressive miniatures were ruined by the fact, for instance, if Sif had a bent sword. And then he's got an axe as well. So that's everything that comes in one starter set. Enough for 1v1. I don't think there's anything under here, hang on. No, definitely not. That's placed there to keep things nice and tidy. So let me get this one cleared out the way, and then we will have a look at Eternal Glade. Alright, so, Eternal Glade. Oh, I didn't take a look at the back of the box. Well, we're opening it anyway, so it's not like we're not going to see what's in it. So it does come with a different two-sided board. I was actually curious. It looks like the other side is the same desert, though. But the front side looks like an Eternal Glade, which fits what they called it perfectly. Not going to unfold it. It's the same looking thing, same number of hexes, same ladder with 2 sides, 1 for each opponent. And then presumably the rulebook is identical. I mean, let me just make sure it's the same scenarios. Yes, it looks like it is. Yeah, okay. It's the same in both rulebooks. I'll keep that to one side because I want to read it. So then we have 3 more of the cards in which you place your heroes, your minions, your skills or passives or whatever that other card is. That's where you keep your buffs, debuffs, and wounds you've taken. It's impossible for your champions to die entirely. I believe they just get rezzed when it moves to a new turn. Put that to one side. So then, also presumably, these are all the same. So we can skip these. It's just more god tiers, buffs, debuffs on the other side. Wounds, turn tracker, etc. So that is all the same. So what will be different, other than the cards here for Morrigan? I don't know what the other hero is called. We'll find out in a second. A dice bag again. Presumably that's what that's for. So Morrigan, I believe, is a lady who is ice and revenant based, perhaps. Cold Bones. They have an attack called So Cool, Mistress. So it does indeed mean that Morrigan is female. Nia. Looks like a League of Legends character. So Nia and her, what are they called? Quartzlings. So I think she might be one based around trying to like not get in combat and place down her marker and such. I think the red miniatures are the ones who just want to go murder. But whether it's murder champions or murder their easier to kill followers, who knows? The answer is in the rulebook, but the rulebook is not to hand. So let's just go straight to looking at the miniatures then. There's Nia, a little small, but detailed for being small, I will say that. So these are just rock monsters, so there's not much to show here. They would take very well to contrast with a little bit of dry brushing, I can say that right now just because of the way they look. So then this one's basically the same, and then she's got a geode as her banner. That's a geode. That's fun. Now these I actually like the look of a lot. Ice themed skeletons. Very nice. It looks like a Dark Souls boss, honestly. Kind of like Wolnir, was that his name? If he wasn't huge and on his knees. Might be misremembering his name. So her banner is a giant icicle. Or ice formation with a skull in it. And then you just have her cold bones. Which are bones that are cold. No bent swords. I mean, they're a little bit crusty, but they're supposed to be because presumably they're made of ice. Got one axe over here as well, who's being problematic. There we are. Again, yeah, good detail. Good detail on the bases as well. There's like ice swirls and stuff. Then last, another axe wielding cold bone. So that's all that's in this box as well, again very similarly to the other starter set, just alternative heroes, different board on one side anyway. So now the additional heroes that come with the Chosen Pledge, champions, I mean. I'll get this moved out of the way and we'll start with Half Tusk, why not? Alright, Half Tusk, oh, the lid's coming right off. Let's see what you get in an additional champion box and how they're all going to be laid out. Probably typical across the bunch. Let's get rid of that polythene. So we've just got the models themselves and then the cards required to use them. I don't think there's anything else because it doesn't need anything else. But that does mean you have to buy at least one of the starter sets then to have enough to run your team of your choice of the two. So here is Half Tusk. He lives up to his name. Tusk is halved. Again, that's another miniature just because of all the contours on his flesh and whatnot that you could definitely make look pretty nice with contrast, I feel. Depending on what skin tone you decide to go with. He's got a big cleaver. His banner appears to be, almost looks like a drum, but I guess it's maybe a tusk of a giant mammoth. I'm not quite sure. Then his froglodites, so caveman frogs, basically. They're neat looking. They kind of look like if Oscar the Grouch went feral. There's the last one, basically the same kind of poses. There we are, this is the one we just looked at. So yeah, there isn't much to see in an additional character bag, but more or less everything you need to add them to your available potential roster of people. So that's the Froglodite stack card there. And obviously, yes, I've been forgetting to show the other side, but that's fine because you'll see them in battle. Then Half Tusk himself. Presumably he's tanky, he seems like he should be. 7 HP, that probably is. He's a Guardian champion. A Guardian moves the turn token +1 step when they have their banner on an objective. So Guardians are the ones that want to place their banner and hold them, so they're the blue specialty then, or speciality. Okay, well, one down. Let's stick with the blue Guardian heroes then and look at the other one that comes in the Chosen tier, which is Marm Blade the Soulless. Alright, let's take a look at what's in Marm Blade the Soulless's box. Very similar to Half Tusk, obviously, so it's mostly down to just looking at the miniatures. Take a quick glance at his cards. Let's do it the opposite way around. They're well and truly stuck in this time. There, I moved his banner. What will we do? I'll just get the cards open. So he comes with the Nightshades, followers of Marm Blade. It's like an ad-lib. Sorry, a Mad Lib, I mean. So there's the Nightshades cards. Their alternative side rather. Careful Master, where's Master? Death Grip. Then Marm Blade himself, he only has 1 HP. He must have a shtick. He must have a weird shtick. Something like that. But yeah, he's also a Guardian champion, so that's why I could have been reading on each type. But don't worry, we've got the other 3 types to go in a second here, so we'll learn about all the types. So that's 2 Guardians. Let's take a look at the miniatures. What is this? Oh, it's a burning corpse. His banner is a burning corpse. The Inquisition would be pleased. Yeah, so his, well actually I don't know if there's, yeah, it looks like they're kind of like soul fire, it's not like actual fire. So that's interesting. Kind of like the polar opposite, pardon the pun, of Morgana. Okay, and then the big man himself, big flaming sword. That pose seems familiar to me as well from the Dark Souls board game, but I can't... the Pursuer? No, not the Pursuer. I swear they've used it though. Got a big flaming sword. Bony legs, but what would you expect? He is a flaming skeleton. But yeah, a lot of detail. I'm sorry I can't get it closer, but it's harder to see in focus if I bring it right in there. But yeah, it's nice. So that's the other Guardian champion type. Now we'll move on to Sneaky Pete, who is the red type, which is presumably the kill champions, but let's see. Alright, Sneaky Pete. Same routine for him. But he's gotta be, in fact I can see it here, he's a Slayer type champion. That's gotta be murder enemy heroes, right? Gotta be. Let's see, we'll start with his cards, just because I saw it in the corner of my eye there. So, Sneaky Pete, Slayer champion. A Slayer moves the turn token plus 1 step, that's on the score ladder, when they knock out an enemy champion. Yeah, they're not after the small fry, they're after the big champions. Okay. So that's his target. Presumably, yep, he's got like leap and backstab, 5 HP. And the Sneaky Stabbers. What a wonderful name. Sprint, let me do it, small and sneaky. They're also irate and sneak, on whatever other side that is. So in terms of like champion size miniatures, he's obviously a little bit smaller, but that's because he's like a goblin. But very detailed again. Like Steamforged have really stepped up their like model quality, model detail I guess I should say. It's made of the same stuff as it always has been, as far as I'm aware. But the level of detail appears to have been improved, to me anyway. Especially compared to like the early Wave 1 Dark Souls board game stuff, which was a little all over the place at times. Well actually no, the Wave 1 stuff was fine, but the additional Kickstarter stuff, eh. And his banner looks like it's a snake skull on like a... Oh no, it's a tentacle. Okay. That's a tentacle. I don't know what that has to do unless they're pirates, maybe? I don't know his backstory, so I honestly couldn't tell you. Alright, so Guardians, Slayers, let's do Grimgut next, which is whatever the yellow champion type is. I'm gonna guess that he is the type that likes to devour, like, these little guys. Let's see. Alright, Grimgut. He should be green and a follower of Nurgle, but whatever, let's go with it. So he is a Maelstrom champion, whatever that means. I didn't stop to read the text, because we'll do that in a second. Maelstrom, a storm causing trouble everywhere, perhaps? Let's get these cards open. And his Wretchlings. Lovely. They're thrown up, presumably. So, a Maelstrom champion moves the turn token plus 1 step when they knock out an enemy follower. Yep. So, Grimgut, or the yellow hero type in general, they don't want to go for the big champions, they want to go for the small fry and just constantly murder them. He also has an ability called Spew. That's wonderful. Is he tanky? Yeah, he is. 9 wounds. I think that's the highest we've seen so far. Flu Spew, Goo Spew, New Spew. It's like Dr. Zeus. Interesting. And the Wretchlings slip and slide and they are wretched and slimed on the other side there. So his banner appears to be like a cauldron full of human soup. It's got skulls in it. That's going to be fun to paint. Yeah, that's wonderful. It's got skulls in the... Oh, sorry, it's not quite in focus. It's got skulls in the top there as well. It's a little on the weirdly shaped and rounded size. So Grimgut himself... I mean, you could use that as like a Nurgle Demon Prince and it wouldn't look out of place, honestly. Similar size to what it would need to be. But that is lovely. Lovely in a he's horrible and disgusting kind of way. Reminds me of that boss from Dark Souls 2. The Rotten? I think that's the one I'm thinking of. The stitched together body part things. Yeah, that's wonderful. So his Wretchlings, there's not much to see. They're just slime snakes with skull faces. I say like that's normal, but they're a little on the smaller side, so it's harder to get in focus. Maybe just get one in good focus. That kind of work. They're all basically the same, just like turning different directions, so not too worried about showing off every single one of these. Not until they're painted anyway. You don't need to paint them, but part of the fun is painting them, I think. Maybe keep the bases, like the rim of the base, the right colour for their champion type. So speaking of which, we've had Maelstrom, we've had Guardian, and we've had Slayer. There's one more type left. It's the same as that Elven hero from the starter set. So let's look at Rattlebone to finish things off. Well, other than the campaign stuff. Alright, let's see what we've got here. Her followers, again, presuming it's a she, I don't know, look the most varied to me. Like there isn't a super amount of synergy between, well, maybe there is between two of them. They kind of look like the Quintessons, is that what they were called? From the old Transformers cartoon in the 90s? Or 80s, sorry. Quintesson? It's something like that. These are tighter than your average snack card. So what type is she? Where is it? She is a Shaper. So Shaper, Maelstrom, Guardian, Slayer, and whatever Grimgut just was that I'm blanking on again. A Shaper moves the turn token plus 1 step when they make a claim action. A claim, I believe, is setting down your banner. And her banner looks like a strutting skeleton, which is fantastic. She's got 6 HP, she rolls the bones, so I wonder if there's a certain element of randomization to what she can do. Cursed Ground, Deadly Curse. Okay. And then her Hexlings is what they're called. But yeah, look at this. It's like a skeleton wanting to show off how awesome its massive ribcage is, and it's just flexing and puffing out its chest. Totally ignoring the part the fact that everything below its spine has been, I don't know, removed. It looks happy. It looks like he's smiling. It's wonderful. Yeah, so there is similarities between these, but they're very, very... Where even is this one's face? Is this its face? I think that's its face. Honestly not sure. And this one looks like something out of The Mist. Which actually might have been a reference. Interesting. That's the one that looks like a Quintesson, assuming I'm saying the right name. If he had 3 faces... And this one's kind of like a... Oh, there's a normal face in there, I think. Can't... Come on, focus. There we go. Right in there in the middle, there's a normal face, but it's like she's wearing a helmet, I think. Sorry, quite hard to tell. It looks like it could be a cat face. That's weird. Then another one that looks kind of like a totem pole that's come to life. So again, other than the 2 additional heroes I picked just because I like the look of the miniatures, this is everything that came in the Godtear Chosen Pledge, which I believe is the upper... So, didn't mean to put that on yet. The upper tier of their original Kickstarter for the game. You can still buy this on their store, that's what I did. If you do so, you're making a massive saving on buying everything here separately. Don't do the all-in one though. They didn't think their pricing through. The all-in one, you save like 20 quid. Buy this and you buy like you save like, I think it was 50 or 60. So they didn't think it through at all. So this is the best tier to get for your money's worth. But you can also get an all-in where they give you literally everything available for the game currently, which is like 4 or 5 more heroes on top of this, I think. Oh, there is the campaign stuff. I don't want to open too much of the campaign stuff because I don't want to go into the campaign things yet. So we do have the additional cards, obviously, and I believe this is just a campaign map, which we can take a look at. But I don't want to open up the campaign cards for all the heroes because I'm not going to do anything related to a campaign for a long time. What you can expect to see more quickly is painting videos. Then maybe like we'll try and get a one-on-one hero setup just to start learning the game together, and go up to 2 and 2, and then eventually do full-sized 3-on-3 matches for the god tiers. Ooh, that's a fancy poster, I like that. That's one of the other heroes that are available. Could not tell you his name, I just remember seeing him. And that is a map of the realm, I guess. So that's maybe just to set the mood for your campaign. And again, these are additional cards, but I don't know why, because these just look like normal ones to me. I said I wasn't going to open any of them, but I don't know what these are. Because the ones in here, these are the campaign ones, because you level up in the campaign. Oh, sorry, I wasn't showing you. You level up in the campaign, and there's levels here. There's places, and that's a rulebook. So that's the stuff I don't particularly need to read, because I'm not doing campaign stuff. What is all this, though? It looks like it's the hero cards for, like... They're sticking together, some of them as well. For all the rest of the heroes that are currently available. but not giving you their abilities, so I'm not sure why they would do this. I'm not sure. But this is every hero currently available, so like 4 blue, 3 yellow, 3 red, and what was that, 5? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 green. At time of recording anyway, they've already previewed a couple of 2 new ones and there's some concept art available. I want them to hurry up and make the scythe guy with the 3-headed dogs as minions, because that looks amazing. So anyway, that is going to wrap this up. You will see more Godtear on the channel in the future, starting with painting videos, starting with smaller matches, eventually growing into bigger tier matches. It's a learning process with any new game, so obviously you can politely point out anything that will be done wrong. But I do have someone who's played a lot of this, so I'll be seeking their advice a lot. But thank you very much for watching this big unboxing. I hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for more Godtear in the future. Ta for now.